First
Welcome
three
back
minutes
to
are
the
just laughing.
Growing Big Director podcast live here at Midwest. Not live, but I say that because there's people around us right now. Heather Hastings, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Kyle?
Good. You're a teacher and composer here in Maine. Well, we're not in Maine now, but where I live in Maine.
Yeah.
Tell people about this composing side of you.
Oh, that's a really good question. So when I was an instrumental student in elementary school, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Um, Band geek to the core. But I would just sort of write like little ditties for myself. I played flute when in fifth grade, and I just wanted other things to play. And I would honestly sit in front of the TV and transcribe stuff for myself, and then just wanted fun things to do on my own. I didn't really realize that was a little bit out of the norm. And then when I was in high school, I had this wonderful opportunity to do a senior project instead of a portfolio. It was sort of like the trial year was my graduating year. And I kind of went out on a whim and was like, I really want to write a piece for concert band. And my director, who's Kyle Jordan at Oxford Hills, was like, hell yeah. And so it happened. And he really graciously like led me through the process of learning music notation software, which at the time was Sibelius 3, which maybe dates me, I guess. And it was really just wonderful. He let me conduct the piece in our spring concert and just really started something that I didn't think it was possible, I guess, at the time. So I went to Plymouth State College for music education, and I
Just pause for a minute. The fact that like you had that mentor who gave you that opportunity. So I guess I don't know if I missed this or not, but he knew you wanted to write, or he was he the one to say, "Hey, you should write something," or
I don't even remember. I honestly don't remember who it was.
yeah,
Yeah, I
the
think
fact that he was willing to mentor you through that.
right.
Did he help you with the piece at all? He was like,
Um,
change this, don't change this, or was it like it is what it is?
Basically, I think I remember one specific example where I think I had a modulation to I think the key of F at the end, and he was like, "Well, let's just bring it to the home key, and this here's why it makes sense." And I taken theory with him. I was also his band president and his like little conductor in training, so I think it was a lot of faith to put in band student, but I
So you
really
knew you wanted
appreciate
to be a
that.
musician, music
At
teacher.
that point, I did, yeah, and he went to Plymouth State, and so I was looking there. I think I've always had students who see the potential in me before I see it sometimes. So he was just ready to hand the ensemble to me, and I'm really grateful for that. It spurred a lot. I got a full ride to college actually because of composition. It was a regional scholarship, and I submitted the piece that I had written and was able to then choose an out of state university, which I just sort of set the wheels in motion for where I am now.
Yeah.
I wrote a little bit at Plymouth State. I was involved in some student consortiums with my professor, Jonathan Centauri, another wonderful human and wonderful mentor. He just recently retired from Plymouth State and is now pursuing like full-time composition and is working on a lot of band stuff actually currently. Um,
When
and
you started
yeah,
teaching in public schools, what year was
yeah.
that?
I started teaching in 2010. I had a band of 7 students, and so I did a lot of arranging. This is really before flex band music was really happening.
Yeah.
There was kind of like band in a box stuff, but there wasn't really that flexible.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of string music, which is written for 5 parts, largely string orchestra, and was like changing the key, changing the ranges. I took a lot of chamber music from public domain and was arranging that for my students. And I didn't really think it was anything big. It was just what you do to have music for your students when there
Yep.
was nothing for 7 kids at that time, and not the instrumentation that I had.
So as someone who's been teaching in the same state as you for 15 years,
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were a composer until a handful of years ago or so. Like, so have you always been like this behind the scenes composer and then you started doing more,
Um,
or have you always been writing for people to play and I just didn't know about it?
well, so my first job was actually in New Hampshire. And I think I was maybe known more then because that was my circle of people. But then when I came back into Maine, I was just so involved in like marching arts and doing things. Composition kind of just went to the side a little bit. And it wasn't really until probably 2022. Again, this is sort of post COVID when we're all just getting back to music that we love to play. And I played in some virtual ensembles in 2020, 2021. And I kind of have like a bootleg folder of like horn parts and music that I love to play. And I play along with like the definitive recordings. And I was thinking about, I think I was playing Vaughan Williams' English folk song suite. And I was like, man, I just love this music so much. Like, are there folk songs from Maine? It just, again, these wheels started to turn again. And I found resources and was like, what, no one's writing for this. Could I do that?
Yep.
And it just, the last time I was here at Midwest, I had written one movement of Dear Go Sweet. And yeah, that was all that existed so far. And now coming back 3 years later, I think I have 10 works for concert bands, 4 for orchestra, commissions on the table. It's really, it's happened fast for me, but it's great to come full circle to something that it's kind of always been there, I guess.
HeatherHastingsMusic.com.
HeatherHastingsMusic.com.
Find
Yeah.
scores and stuff.
Yep.
And then you won a big award recently, right?
Uh,
Tell me about that.
okay. Yeah. So when you're just starting out composing, you're like, oh, well, how do I get stuff played? And there's competitions out there. So I kind of went to different websites for call for scores. And my good friend, Erica Scarano at South Portland Middle School, she sent me this WBDI commission competition for Gladys Stone Wright, who was like a trailblazing founder of their organization and one of the very first female band directors in the country, and just a leader by nature. And I had entered a couple of competitions before and just on a whim was like, I'm going to throw a couple things in there. And if something happens, great. If nothing happens, great. It's more experience.
Yep.
And it was August of 2024. I threw in a couple of pieces I'd written for bands. I think I had to throw in a CV and a proposal for this piece I would write about Gladys. So I watched a lot of interviews about her. There's 2 really definitive ones out there and was just really inspired by her as a person that I drafted what I would imagine this band piece to be. And it was Halloween night. I got an email. I got home late for some reason, but like opened up my email and it was like, congratulations. And I like nearly hit the ceiling in my bedroom. Like I texted my mom at like 5:30 in the morning, like, oh my gosh, like you have no idea what just happened.
Yeah.
It was totally unexpected, but just really grateful. There were 54 submissions of all female works. And grateful that my ideas were chosen because then I went on to write this piece. I finished that in January. And it was premiered in October by the Thomas Wooten Wind Ensemble in Rockville, Maryland. The consortium portion of the composition was a separate entity. And so the student ensembles that wanted to premiere the piece also had to apply and win. So that high school had applied and won to premiere the work. We premiered it on September 30th of this year, and then she passed away. Gladys Stone Wright passed away within a month. And she was 100 years old. Incredible, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so I'm here. I have some time at the WBDI booth to promote the piece. It's under exclusivity until about July of the summer, but then it's available to anyone who wants to program it. It's about a 3.
What's it called?
It's called Unwavering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a place they can hear it, even though they can't buy it yet?
You can hear the premiere recording on my website.
Yeah.
Yep.
HeatherHastingsMusic.com.
HeatherHastingsMusic.com.
Great. What's in the works? Like stuff that you're excited about coming forward?
I'm really excited. I love folk music. I feel like I'll write a couple of things or I'll have a couple of projects that are commission works and then I'm coming back to like my roots, I guess, which is like I love folk music. I've written some sea inspired music, some Maine inspired music. So this time around I've just had in my head like I really want to do some sea shanties. So I'm doing what I'm going to call an anthology. I'm working on a 3rd movement and I'm thinking there'll be maybe 4 or 5 and it will be kind of an a la carte where you can play in any order. They won't be numbered, like a true anthology, a songbook where you can pick out and play in any order or play any amount. So you have like 3.5 minutes left in your festival and you need to fill. I have stuff about that length. And each one is an original composition or an original work with like sort of hidden Easter egg traditional shanties woven in.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I love folk music.
It's so much fun and I like writing music that sounds like it's old or like it is folk music, and I love spinning these yarns in new ways. I think that's what I love the most about folk music for band or for orchestra is like, yeah, old wine in new bottles.
So my daughter Addie was in Piewee when they
Yeah.
played, was it box spin?
They did box spin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the first day I picked her up, and she was like, of course, she's one of the kids that gets in the car and then has to take the phone and has to play you every piece. And you can kind of say like, use this like I know that piece. You don't have to play it for me, but she wants to play it for me anyway, right? And all
Yeah.
that. So,
Yep.
and then at some point and then she played your piece, and then she said something about it, and I said something about you where I don't remember what it was, and she's like, "Wait, you know her?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, I could just let me just ask her that question." So I sent you a message or
I think
whatever.
you texted me, yeah.
Yeah, like where's the video available or something like that. And she was just,
Be from camp. She just maybe
I
doesn't
know,
know
she
that.
just so, but just the fact that like there's people who are actually behind the music.
Oh my gosh. And it's been, I feel like Maine and the Maine universities and the Maine high schools, have been so welcoming. I've Zoomed with schools, I've visited. I just feel really supported and I love making the connection with students.
Yeah.
Even just sharing facts like, oh, I have a beta fish, and they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. So do I. Like, I could understand thinking about myself back in high school, writing a piece for concert band, like who was I looking up to? I would have loved to have like I love Andy Boysen, like, and now I know him, but at the time, like he was just this name to me. It's amazing to meet a composer, and I'm glad that I get to be on the other side of that now.
So an impromptu question. I know
Sure.
you've kind of checked in with Terry White a lot,
Yeah.
with on your composition work. What's something that he's given you advice on?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I know there's probably a ton.
He's been like a fabulous mentor. I think what I love the most about Terry, he's always like, go get it. You go do that. Go do that. Like it's always positive. And I love that I can also throw him anything if it's in the works, if it's 15% done, if it looks like Swiss cheese on the score, he can see my intent. And I love that he gives very deliberate, very detailed comments. I think one other specific thing that I love about him is his just eye for editing. You can look at something 1,000 times, and because you know what's in your head, you might not see that. Oh my gosh, I didn't finish that tenor line. Like, whoops, and he just immediately catches it, essentially with a red pen. And I think he actually does that. He's like printed it out, marked it up, and then emailed me back. And I love the detailed eye, and I appreciate everything he shares with me. Just a lifetime of wisdom.
And he's got a lot of concert band stuff too out there. And people who don't know, he's probably the best jazz band writer out there.
Right? Oh my gosh.
So good.
Yeah.
Let's end a little bit of French horn.
Sure.
So like all the French horn players out there and all the bands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a common issue that if we could fix would be great. Like
okay.
Hand too far in the bell, hand not in the bell. Like if we can fix that.
Right. That is the number one thing I find myself fixing whenever I work with students.
So if somebody who doesn't know, who doesn't have a horn on them and they're in a car
Okay.
driving and listening, how would you describe where they put their right hand on French horn?
So I think for the shape, first of all, most people, I think if they don't know about horn, might know how to swim, right? So my horn professor, John Bowden, always taught me, think of like swimmer's hands. So it's this kind of shape like you're going through water. And essentially your horn, it's going to be sitting on a shelf. So for me, I think about the balance of how my hands are going to hold the horn, and you want it to be equidistant. You don't want it all resting on your left, all resting on your right. So if you think about your left hand is holding, and if you have a pinky ring or an Alex strap like I do, your left hand is supporting, and then where your hand rests in the bell is going to be on this essential shelf that you make with your hands. And if I sort of think about where mine is gravitating, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock, but then it's moving around all of the time. And I guess that's another thing that maybe students aren't as aware of, is that your right hand is controlling so many things: intonation, timbre, projection. I mean, there's lots of different effects you can create, historical and otherwise. So I would just say, if students can sort of visualize, like, well, what is my hand doing? Is the horn evenly distributed? And if not, those are the first things to think about.
And when you bring the heel of your hand in, it makes it sharper, right?
So
raise the pitch?
It does until it doesn't, right?
Okay.
So like stopped horn actually changes the partial rather than right. So it changes the partial series entirely.
But if you move it a little bit, then it helps.
Yep.
It's not just a mouth thing that you can fix a pitch.
Right. Yeah. So I always think of students like leading with the elbow rather than thinking about like, oh, I'm stuffing my hand in or pulling it out.
Yep.
I think of more like opening and closing, right? Yeah. If I need to raise the pitch or bring it down.
And sometimes we forget to even talk about it because we can't see it from the podium.
Yeah. And I think for some students, like demystifying horn, there's so many variables. So they might just be subconsciously doing more here, or if they can see the tuner, then they're doing stuff here without thinking about it sometimes too. So that's another thing that I have my horn sections at camp do, is I'm looking at the tuner and I'm having them, I have one student, my principal, and then I have the students matching, and then they're adjusting and just listening to the space until the sound actually matches. More like how strings are tuning to each other.
Well, HeatherHastingsMusic.com. And if anybody wants to have a new work written,
Yeah.
reach out to you.
Yep. Go right to my website. There's a form to fill out and everything.
Love it.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Kyle. This was fun.
Welcome to the Growing Band Director podcast. I am here with Kameron Durr. Hi, Kameron.
Hello, how you doing?
This is actually take two for us because I goofed and I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't hit record. But we just had this great conversation. So I feel like we have to just continue our conversation. But here's what I know about Kameron so far. You can tell the people if you want. Go ahead.
I am a third-year band director from Taylorsville, Mississippi. You have no idea where that is.
So true.
But yeah. My band size consists of about 30 children, and yeah, my job is to give them the best experience possible, regardless of who's sitting next to them.
So for all of you people out there that have small band programs, Kameron teaches around 30 students from grades 3 to 12. That's 30 total, right?
Well, from 5th to 12th.
5th to 12th.
Yeah.
30 people, 30 kids total. So my first question to him was, as a third year band director, number one, why are you here? And like, who told you about Midwest?
Yeah.
So answer that first.
So I hear about Midwest all the time through like social media and things like that. And so I'm like, if I'm gonna, advance in my career and, give my children the best opportunities possible, let me go, where everybody else goes, when in Rome is what they say.
Yes, go where everybody else goes. And then the other thing that I loved about our conversation was your main instrument is saxophone. So are there things as a saxophone player, a third year band director, you come here to Midwest, what are you hoping to get out of this experience to bring back to those kids?
Yeah. So I pretty much become a trumpet secondary. And so, I would love to, advance more in my brass pedagogy and things like that. Even percussion too. Got to be percussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think everybody needs to learn a little bit more about percussion.
Yeah. And I remember as a third year teacher, I came out of college as a flute major and I was like, you take all your methods classes, but then you're in front of kids and you have to teach it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know enough about this instrument. I've only taken this instrument for one semester. That is what I had in my college. Did you guys have any more than one semester or was that it?
Like
for your non-major instrument. So like your brass methods class.
Yeah.
Was a semester.
Well, we had trimesters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was 10 weeks of
less than.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. So there's a lot to learn. And I still feel after 20 years of teaching that there's still stuff that I can learn. I just went to a pedagogy class to share with kids in the middle of rehearsal how you could share specific instrument pedagogy. And I looked at this form and this packet of information and I was like, I am still learning all of this stuff. There's still things you could come to this clinic for 20 years and you still find stuff that you can learn.
Yeah. That's a good thing about it.
Right. So when you walked into this place, what were your first impressions?
I am a small fish in a big pond, which honestly, even back home, I'm used to that. So, but even on a magnitude like this, it was just like, oh, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Take it all in. Go slowly through everything. And I mentioned this when I forgot to hit record. There's 3 stations you got to go back to if you didn't hit them the first time. One is Randall Standridge. You said you already saw him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. You got to go see Randall Standridge. He has a bunch of free scores right at that table I can see from here. 2 is Tyler Grant. Tyler is actually doing a session with Tiffany Hitz tomorrow. And it's about the companion guide in the rehearsal. Mm-hmm. And that would be money for your program and everybody else's, honestly. But Tyler's also giving away scores. And inside his scores are some of the companion guides that he has written for his band pieces. They're fantastic for all levels. And they're all resources on his website. So go talk to him for sure. I already did. I got my signed score. I was like, yeah, gotta go there. And then here at the Excelsior booth, Carol Britton Chambers is coming for the composer visit. Laura Estes, I'm doing a lot of her stuff with my middle school students right now. There's a lot of really, really great pieces coming out through Excelsior here. So, and that's where we are right now recording. So what are you looking forward to tomorrow, Friday? Are you going home Friday or are you going to make it all the way to Saturday?
I'm making it all the way to Saturday.
Oh my gosh. Hardcore. Yes. Okay.
Gotta do it all.
Are you going to concerts too?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think University of North Texas performing.
Uh-huh.
Got to make it there.
Uh-huh.
I got a plane ride from Houston to here, and the orchestra from I forgot what their name was. I think Cinco Ranch. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Cinco Ranch is performing, and so pretty good kids. So I'm gonna go out and support.
You
So
gotta
yeah.
go see that. That's awesome. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
excited that you came back to the booth the second time because I screwed up the first time.
I'm surprised you
But-
found me.
Oh no, I was like, we gotta find him. We gotta find him. So thanks for coming back.
Absolutely.
Thanks for supporting the podcast.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Welcome back to the Growing Band Director Podcast. Here live at Midwest 2025. Here with Aaron Noe. Aaron, how are you?
Good, doing fantastic. I didn't realize we are live right now.
Well, we're not
You
live.
didn't say, okay.
We're not live.
Okay.
We're not live. We're live, but we're not live.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got you. All right, cool.
Winconductor.org.
Winconductor.org.
Yep.
Got
We've just gotten hooked up recently.
We did. Proud
Um,
supporter. Love
yep.
your podcast.
Thank you.
Win Conductor is just a place. Hopefully you can find some cool resources as the band director. I write on a wide range of topics and
Like what?
classroom management stuff. I've written about the history of the wind band. I've written about different techniques, lesson plans, just topics. To be quite honest with you, Wind Conductor kind of grew out of my own growth, things that I'm struggling with, trying to figure out what's happening. I try to develop a process for it, develop a strategy to overcome the challenge. And I'm sure that there's other directors out there that are probably dealing with the same challenge. So a lot of that stuff just goes there. And then I just write on topics that I find appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that considered a blog? Like, I don't even know what a blog is. That like
Yes.
just a place
Yeah.
people can go and they can see your writings?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. It is a blog. I'm not regular with it.
Yeah.
But it's been up since 2012.
Wow.
Yes, I mean it's got some history behind it and everything. You can find a wide range of topics that I've written on over the
I
years.
love that.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of arrangements too, right?
I do.
Can we talk
I'm
about
Mono
that?
Music.
Yeah.
AAMANO music.com. So I've got arrangements, original compositions. You can also find the band director's goal setting planner there,
Yeah.
which is kind of my latest project. It's kind of been in my headspace for the past couple of years. But yeah, wide range of original stuff that I've written, as well as some updated adaptations of classic wind band repertoire.
Yep.
So,
Let's talk a little bit more about the goal setting planner.
Yeah.
Like, so for people who might be interested in getting that, what is it?
so it is designed to help the band director that wants to take their program to the next level. And that's different for every band director, right? Your goals are different from my goals. The planner just walks you through the process of really identifying your program, where it is right now, dream big, long into the future. Where do you want your program to be, by the time you retire? What do you want to see thriving in your program? And then scaling that back to the next 5 years. What can I accomplish in the next 5 years? It focuses on what I call the 4 pillars of growing a band program, and that is musicianship, obviously growth in terms of recruitment and retention, community support, and school support. And the whole process is designed to, when you start thinking about your planning process, thinking long-term, every year is leading up to that 5-year goal. And that 5-year goal is we're constantly expanding it and revising it, but challenging you to grow in all 4 of those areas.
What I love about it is, as a teacher, you're so engrossed in what you're doing today and this
Right.
week and this concert cycle and next concert cycle, like it's very micro,
Right.
right? So using this kind of forces people to go take a step back or 5 steps back and kind of think about that longer picture, and then come back into the micro.
Yeah. And it's, it's important that
And I'll say I struggle with that too, because it's like
everybody does.
I just want my band to be better.
Yes.
Is my answer. Well, it's like,
Yes.
well, how do you know? I have a hard time with the long-term goal. Like, is a long-term goal Midwest? Well, what happens if you don't? Most of us never have a band that's going to go to Midwest. Like, does that mean you failed? Well, no.
No.
So it's like setting those long-term goals sometimes is hard for me because like, well, I don't know what's going to come from it.
So, and if Midwest, and this is kind of where I encourage band directors to ask the why of why do you want to take your band to Midwest? You know, is it for your personal journey or is it for the students? What are the students getting out of it? And there's different programs, you know, and I've taught at, you know, small high school programs, and I've taught at some pretty large thriving programs. My small programs having that goal of Midwest probably would not be a good goal to have for that small band program. Doesn't mean that it's not possible, but the likelihood of that happening.
Sure.
You know, you've had directors on that have had 3 or 4 concert ensembles. You know, having their wind ensemble, their symphonic winds, their symphonic band, their concert band, and beyond. You know, some of those places in Texas where you have a student population of 3,000 kids in the school. You know, your top ensemble, it is that goal of coming to Midwest. I mean, that is a very realistic goal for that group because, you know, when you start looking at, you know, percentages of the student population and, you know, that whole bell curve, the number of kids in that top group is the most elite kids in that school musically, right? So really defining what those goals are.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I was watching a band in Virginia once who was one of these Rose Bowl Parade Midwest. I'm not saying the same thing, but they were a really well-known program. And I was in their band room watching. And of course, when you watch a band that's not yours, you compare it to your own. You're like,
Right.
okay, that horn section and my horn section, that trumpet section, my trumpet section. And what I realized was like my top 5 kids were that's those kids.
Yeah.
It's just they had 20 for every 5 that I had.
Right.
So it's like their kids weren't better than mine. They just had way more. And after talking to the director, he's like, also remember, I now have 4 times the amount of weaker students that you have as well.
Right.
So we all have those great students.
Yeah.
It's just these bigger programs sometimes just have more of those better students.
So your high school, talk to me about your high school. How big is your high school, the overall student population?
About 650.
Okay. So, you know, in Texas, that'd be a really small school.
Yep.
In most places, that's, I don't know, in Maine, how does that relate to?
I would say probably medium.
Medium?
Not near the top, not near the bottom, but very medium.
And how many kids do you have in your program?
About 90.
See, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is absolutely phenomenal. You're bringing in.
We've got 2 full bands that we manage. You know, we consistently have 2 full bands.
That's great. You're bringing in about 15% of the student population into your band program. That's absolutely phenomenal. You know, in the conversations that I've had with other band directors, most high schools are hovering around the 7% of the student population in their band programs. Strong programs get up to the 10%. Really strong programs are pushing that 12 to 15% like you.
And then there's those programs who get like 85%. Like, I don't even know how they do that.
Right. Well, I had a friend in Virginia. He taught at a school of, they had about 400 kids. And at one time he had 200 kids in the band program.
That's great.
Which is, you know, tells me it's possible, but I mean, that's definitely an outlier.
Like a special place. Yeah.
So, you know, when it comes to like the planner and planning, you know, what is going to resonate with your students first, because it is about them. What is going to take them to the next level musically? What is going to resonate from the within the community? Because I think that's an important part because, you know, your program has to speak to the community that you're in, and you have to find that support for the program. If you're building musicianship, you're going to build, you know, kids are going to be attracted to that program. When kids are attracted, you're going to expand your community support. And when your community support expands, your school, and I'm talking about all levels of school, you know, from the building level to district level, you know, the superintendent is going to take notice of what the program is doing. So just, you know, when you're setting up those plans, making sure that you're really defining in those 4 pillars a pathway to expand and enhance the program overall. And obviously musicianship comes first, right?
That's always has for me. Like, just build it with great bands and then things go from there. That's the way I know some people don't do that, but that's what's been for me too. For me, the issue is like, how do you deal with the community part of it? Because so many times you have these requests and your answer is like, no, like I don't, can I get some time off? You know, is
Right.
kind of what you want to say. So then there's the whole like, how do you balance the work life and the home life and all this? But like the community portion of that is huge.
Yeah.
Things you're doing like playing Christmas carols when they light the tree in the park
Right.
and the parades, like those are huge deals.
Yeah.
And so many people say, sorry, we're not playing Molly on the shore at that parade. We're not going to do the parade anymore. Well, then all of a sudden your funding is going to go away because
Yeah.
people don't see you. They don't know
Yeah.
you're there. So like that balance of, but then if you're to community and not as much into the musicianship artistry of it, I'm not saying they can't coexist,
Right.
but finding that balance, I think is
Yeah,
is
most
crucial.
definitely. And getting back to planning, if you're intentional about the time that you have and devoting that time to expanding all of those areas and really defining, committing yourself to this, the time that you've set up, you're going to find time to balance out the life home situation.
Yeah.
It's when we, well, it's when I, kind of move away from, and I don't really have a set plan, that I wind up filling in time and spending more time at school, more time at work, and kind of lose sight of what's important at home and everything. So, but when I am deliberate about committing myself to the time to do this, this, and this to move the program forward, I can sit back and know that I'm taking appropriate steps to move the program forward.
Yep.
And then I can actually schedule in those times to go hang out with my wife and enjoy the little one at home. So
I love that. So as we wrap up, what's something you're looking forward to here at Midwest?
the music. I mean, there's with some of the top bands in the U.S. are playing here, and we have the opportunity to hear them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aaron Noe, thank you. How can people reach out to you if they want to talk with you?
Wingconductor.org, amanomusic.com. Feel free to email me, Aaron Noe at amanomusic.com. I'm here to help. Whatever I can do to help your program, let me know.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Welcome to the Growing Band Rock Podcast, Midwest 2025, live but not live here with Dan Austin from Guelph School.
Yeah, Guelph Collegiate Vocational Institute. That's what we are called. Yeah,
You've been one of the most frequent guests,
Yeah. We've done three.
two big ones, one of your music recently.
Yes.
I forget the episode number, but it was all music of yours.
Yeah.
And then every time we're together, we just like to kind of jump on and say hi.
Hey,
So
always happy to chat music,
you've
man.
also done every music podcast under the planet, every band podcast.
Quite a few of them.
So you just drove from Canada down to Chicago. You're an hour west of Toronto.
Yep.
7 hours.
Yeah, it was a good haul, but I did stop this year.
Yeah.
Every other year I've done it overnight. This year got a little tired. Decided I'd take a little hotel sleep and get here, but
And you
happy to
literally
be
had
here.
a concert last night.
I did. Yeah, we do our school winter concerts the last week. Our school runs a music theater course, and the music theater show is right before the end of the year. So I ended up having to do my concert pretty late, and now coming to Midwest, I kind of have to sneak it in. So had it last night, went really well. It was great.
What's the philosophy of the concert? Is it the first concert of the year?
Yeah.
First concert?
This is the
So
first
is it
concert.
like a holiday concert? Is it a winter concert? Is it just a normal concert in the winter?
kind of a combination of all that. I throw some holiday music in. We do some of the festival music we're prepping because our festivals in Ontario run in early February. So it's a mix of both. For the little guys, my beginners, this is just a chance to get in front of an audience and play. And they do their grade halves and grade ones and 1.5s, and mom and dad are there, and it's fantastic. Gives my seniors a chance to dry run some stuff, and we'll add some holiday music that they can read pretty easily. Same thing with my jazz band. We did a bossa nova version of White Christmas, that kind of stuff. So it's a mix of both. We do a winter concert, and then we will do a spring concert. We actually do it outside. We rent our local, there's a beautiful park in downtown Guelph, and there's a band shell that we rent. And so we do it in the band shell, and that's a much bigger concert. We'll do more rep at that because people kind of come and go from that one. So this one's a little compressed. Each group plays 3 or 4. We do about 1.5 hours. So yeah.
What's a piece or a couple pieces you're using with your kids or have recently in the last year that you really like that people should use?
Okay, interesting.
This is not about yours though.
No.
Yeah.
So funny, we did play one of mine last night, but we did a couple Bolmage's tunes because he's coming. Our 3 schools do a combined concert. He's coming for that in March. So we previewed a few of those. And one of the ones, Critical Impact, that we did, really fun chart. It's like a 2.5, I think, but it combines strings with concert band.
Cool.
So I was able to bring my orchestra kids in. We did that as the finale of the concert. Really fun jazz band chart we did last night by a guy named Dan Kramlich. He's got a small publishing company called Dapper Page. And actually last year at Midwest, I heard in one of the reading sessions, they were playing something by them and I really liked it. So he's got a new one called American Standard. Cool, like pretty attainable 1-chord funk chart with some nice little call and response stuff in it. Good chance for the kids to experiment and some improvising in a pretty safe way. That was a really fun one we played. We also did Katie Labree's Waltz Macabre she has like an orchestral version and a band version. So I combined them and did that as well. That was really fun. So lots of cool new stuff out there this year. And then, a few of the classics, you do Sleigh Ride, you do all those kind of ones too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about advice for band directors who might want to start composing? They're thinking about if they should or they could, or
the biggest thing I'd say is just jump in and do it. It's amazing how much knowledge you already have from just reading scores over years and years. Like that's kind of how I started knowing that. I kind of had an idea of what combinations work and what sort of things, how a piece is structured. And then it's an experiment. And the great thing with, Sibelius or Dorico or whatever you use, MuseScore, you can hear it and you can try it. And, so I was able to do that. I would just say, go for it. Like it's quite fascinating how many people I speak to who are also teachers, educators. Like it's a very common thing now.
it's an advantage.
Oh, sure. You have the practical knowledge to know what works and doesn't. Like there's things that I will, while I'm writing, look at and go, oh, wait, that's not going to work because I know what my kids can and can't do.
You can write it for your band right now.
Exactly.
It'll fit other bands too.
Yeah. And I think about like, I'm going to try to write for my band, but also I want to write for the band I hope I have at the same time. So if I'm writing specifically, I did a piece just recently I wrote specifically for my kids. I knew that, I don't have the best trumpet section this year, so I'm going to write a little different for that. But everything else I write, I'm like, what would be my ideal group and what would they be able to do? Having said that, the knowledge of just understanding like what a typical grade 9 trombone sounds like is really helpful. So
also the ability to have a band with you every day or every other day, like to write even 8 bars and then bring it in and have them play it. And
sure,
and composers would love to have a band.
Yeah, and we do that quite often. I'll test drive something with them. Say, what do you guys think? How do you like this? It's always interesting to see what they really like playing.
Yeah.
They tend to like the faster stuff.
Sure.
They want the high energy. They really like the kind of like film scorey, minor key kind of stuff. That's what they're really into right now. So it's nice to have that perspective too, to understand like what they want to play. So yeah.
And to program what they like while also stretching them to things you want them to do that are not just what they like. I think for a lot of young teachers, they go, oh, my kids love this. We're just going to do these. But like, yeah, you don't just eat macaroni and cheese if you got kids, So like that's part of it.
It's funny. I had this conversation very recently. I went to visit a school a few hours from me that's playing one of my pieces, asked me to come work with them. And they're working on their repertoire and different things. And the teacher had picked some really hard music for her kids. Stuff that was, kind of film scorey, like stuff that kids would really like a Pirates of the Caribbean, but they couldn't really play it. And I said, there are pieces like this that are much more attainable. And we talked about sort of that advantage. How do I find repertoire that the kids will engage in and is similar to one of these epic like Star Wars pieces they like, but they could actually play it.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a huge advantage too. And that's, you talk about advice for young teachers, picking repertoire is so important. It is like, if you pick the wrong repertoire, your band's not going to sound right.
Yeah.
So
be super picky, about what you're choosing. We could do a
100%.
whole thing on that as we have done. I just pulled up here real quick. If people want to know more about Dan's music, instead of touching on it now, episode 293 was 1 hour and 1 minute long. I'm looking at it right now on a handful of your pieces.
Yeah.
And then we also did episode 122, where we talked a lot about Canadian band repertoire. Because, us in America, we don't think a lot about the Canadian repertoire, to be honest
Sure.
with you. So
And
I love seeing that there's more and getting more publicity.
there's lots, like what's amazed me over the last few years. I've done a bit of work with the WASB people and that kind of stuff. There are composers worldwide we don't even know of, like, and they're fantastic writers who live in Brazil and Japan. And so like that, such a cool thing now where we have this global network and we can find all this music because of the digital music world. But it's kind of like going to a restaurant and they're like, oh, you can take anything from anywhere in the world off the menu.
Yeah.
You don't even know where to start, right? So I think I love being able to promote the Canadian music and talk about, hey, here's what's out there. Because I realize a lot of people don't know who the Canadian writers are. There aren't a ton of us, I'll be honest. It's not a lot, but there's some fantastic writers up in Canada doing great stuff. Matt Neufeld's one that I love for his grade 1, 2-ish kind of level stuff. Vince Gassie's another great Canadian composer. Ryan Meebor. There's some fantastic composers out there. So yeah,
Love it.
yeah, man.
Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, anytime.
Band directors, be honest. How many times a week have you said, fix your hand position? 5, 10,000, somewhere in the triple digits? Thumb Gummy can't stop wrong notes, missing mouthpieces, or the mysterious disappearance of every pencil in your band room, but it can help fix hand position. Thumb Gummy is a small, comfortable teaching aid that naturally guides your students' hands where they're supposed to go, so you don't have to repeat the same correction every rehearsal. Teachers appreciate how quickly students respond, and students like it that it feels natural instead of bulky or awkward. And whether it's a brand new beginner, rusty returners, or anyone who just needs a little reinforcement, it helps them become more independent with every rehearsal. It installs in seconds, fits trumpets, trombones, and clarinets, and the clarinet version also fits the oboe, giving more of your woodwinds the support they need. If you're looking to make your rehearsals run just a little bit smoother, check out thumbgummy.com. Kaiser Productions is honored to sponsor the Growing Band Director podcast. As a publisher for Ludwig Masters and Southern Music, they uphold a proud tradition of outstanding musicianship. They share your passion for teaching through performance at all levels with music and resources for band and flexible instrumentation. Their catalog has essential literature by Francis Macbeth, James Barnes, and Frederick Fennell, as well as exciting new works, many by composers who've been guests on this very podcast. Whether you're looking for timeless classics, fresh new works, or your next contest piece, look no further than Kaiser Productions at kaiserproductions.com. That's KEISER Productions.com. You've heard me talk about the wonderful Tuner Caddy product. Now introducing the Tuner Caddy Tuner TCT60M. Is a chromatic tuner that transposes for instruments in F, C, B flat, and E flat. Has a 6-foot clip-on microphone so they can tune from their seat, a built-in metronome to keep your tempos honest, and a bright, easy-to-read display so even the trumpet section can't miss it. Pair it with the Tuner Caddy and you have the Tuner Caddy system, a place for everything and everything in its place. Sponsorship for today's podcast is provided in part by Austin Custom Brass. Austin Custom Brass is the largest Adams brass dealer in the United States. Adams Brass makes some of the world's finest trumpets, flugelhorns, trombones, euphoniums, and tubas. Find out why some of the most renowned musicians in the world play Adams Brass, like many of the brass musicians from the Rotterdam Philharmonic Orchestra. Trent Austin, founder of Austin Custom Brass, is also an Adams artist. You can call Austin Custom Brass today at 816-410-0826 to learn more about Adams Brass, or visit their website at www.austincustombrass.biz. Excelsior Music Publishing is proud to sponsor the Growing Band Director podcast. Excelsior Music Publishing provides festival and assessment music for concert band, jazz ensemble, and solo and ensemble performances, as well as method books to help your students grow. A variety of overtures, marches, and lyric works included on numerous state lists await you. Choose music to meet your contest and festival needs at excelsiormusic.com. That's EXCELCIA music.com. Amano Music is a proud sponsor of the Growing Band Director podcast. If you're a band director looking for a clear path to grow your program, take a look at the Band Director's Goal Setting Planner. It helps you map out your priorities, organize your year, and stay focused on the things that truly move your program forward. Inside the planner, you'll find tools for long-term planning, weekly goal setting, reflection, and building stronger support systems for your students and community. You can find the Band Director's Goal Setting Planner at amanomusic.com. That's AAMANO music.com. And listeners to the Growing Band Director podcast receive a special 10% discount by entering the code GBD10 at checkout. That's GBD and the number 10 at checkout. Welcome back to the Growing Band Director podcast. We are live, but not live here at Midwest. I'm here with the one, the only, John McAllister.
Great to be here.
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be back. I wasn't here at Midwest last year, and I'm here this year, and it's great.
You're a parent this year.
I am a parent. I was becoming a parent last year, which is
Yeah.
why I wasn't here. So it's nice to be back. It's, you know, priorities shift a little bit when you have a kid, but it's, you know, it's good. I'm still able to write music and make music and do all the good things. So
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about how it's different when you travel, like when you have a child at home, and
oh,
like
I know.
it
Yeah.
just feels different. It's
Oh
different
yeah,
for everybody.
especially
And
first time I get on that plane and I'm like, oh, I'm leaving. I'm flying away. I can't get back if I need to. That kind of thing.
Yep.
I can, but it's harder. So yeah,
Yep.
but it's, you know, it's good. It's wouldn't trade it for anything. So
yeah, and
Yeah.
it gives you, excuse me, it gives you perspective as you go on as well. Like
Yes.
you end up seeing. Did you find that like right when your daughter was born, you felt like you just saw things a little
Oh, yeah.
differently? Like
Oh,
life
yeah.
just changed.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%. And you know, it's just so cool to watch her grow up and just, you know, everything happens so fast in that first in the first year, and all the little developmental milestones. I will say this: she loves music. Absolutely loves it. Probably because I'm her dad and we do music all the time and we
Yeah.
play stuff. Her favorite song right now is
Fundamental warm up too.
yeah, that's right. Actually, it's Mozart. It's Papageno duet from the Magic Flute, because it's in a little book that plays, and she says Papa, not because she's referring to me, but because she wants that song to be
Yeah.
played. And I of course go and we play the full thing, and she loves it. Like that's, if ever she's upset, that's the song that calms her down, is Mozart. So
Have you heard of Wild Symphony?
I have heard of it, but tell me what it is again.
So Dan Brown, the author of
Yes.
the Da
Yes.
Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
Yes.
So
I know
he's a New
exactly
Hampshire
what
guy.
it is. Yes.
Yeah, so it's, for people who don't know, it's like a book,
Yeah.
and I honestly don't remember this, but it's all about the symphony and animals.
I need to buy that book.
And there's an app,
Okay. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and you like play each one, and the kid sees it, and like just hearing the tuning note
Yeah.
at the beginning of the app, and like my kids until they were 8
Wow.
loved
Okay.
Wild
Yeah.
Symphony.
I'm gonna have to get that book because I have heard of that before. Because I remember seeing that and being like, hey, when I have a kid, this is gonna be amazing. And so yeah, that's that. Right now we're doing the little Mozart things. Here, press the button and it plays this
Yep.
thing. And yeah, but she loves it, and it's, you know, it's just cool to watch how you know, as a music teacher, granted she's just 1 year old, but like the yeah, I can't turn the teacher off. I'm always thinking like, how is her brain receiving this? How is she?
Mhm.
How does this music happen? And like, if I play this for her now in 5 years, what's it going to be doing? That kind of thing. So it's just fascinating how music, it affects us at all
So,
ages.
and have you thought about what music you're playing in the car when you and your wife
Oh,
are driving, and
all the
she's in the
time.
back? And
all the time. It's and honestly, I try to make it a big variety. It's like, let's listen to classical today. Let's listen to jazz today. Let's listen to some things that might stretch your tonality a little bit. Let's see what happens. Of course, that's usually when it's just me and her. My wife, you know, she's a little more straightforward. She's not a musician, so she likes a little more straightforward stuff. I can't play
So
too crazy stuff.
we literally just played the John Feyerabend and Jill Trinka First Steps in Music. There's
Uh-huh.
like 6 or 7 CDs, and it's all this folk music, but it's all in the key of F, key of G, where kids can sing, and it's like
Okay.
designed for kids. So literally, you play it,
That's a
you just have it on, and it's like they're just listening, and then a couple of weeks in, you just notice all of a sudden they're
Yeah.
singing. There's like, they'll have the song,
Yeah.
and then the next track afterwards, they'll have the song with the response part that's empty. It's like you're in a general music
Okay.
class.
Yeah.
And before you
okay.
know it, the kid's looking at the car, sucking their thumb, and then
Yeah.
starting to sing.
Yeah.
you know,
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
They're on Apple Music and everywhere, and
Okay.
CDs.
I'm out. Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, if my kids are musical, like that's the reason. Like
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
all we listen to, but it was
Yeah. But no, you know, it's
like trying to get a little kid to sing along in the key of C isn't going to work
Yeah.
because their vocal cords are
Yeah,
like
they're
meant
not-
for
no,
F,
yeah,
meant
yeah.
for G. There's a reason general music teachers use
Yeah.
tunes.
and those
in
are
that
things
key.
that's the piece of music. You know, I'm a band guy, so I need to think about those kinds of things as she grows and that kind of stuff. Because whether or not she ends up doing music, she's going to play something. She's
Yeah.
going to be involved in music.
part of
so
who she
Yeah,
is.
it's just, and me, shamelessly, I think everybody should be involved in music.
Yeah.
I think it's just the impact on your brain and how it develops, and also just like community. Like it's great community to be a part of, people that make music. So
So we're going to start talking about your warm-up series.
Yes, okay.
But to do that, I'm going to bring on the number one fangirl for John McAllister. Yep. So Crystal, come on up. We're going to talk about his warm-ups.
Great.
Perfect. Hi. Good to meet you in person.
I love all of your warm-up series stuff.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm like a real big fan. It's just become a huge part of my program because I was looking for a book that could do chorales, scales, technique studies, airflow studies. I was like, there isn't anything, and I don't want my middle school students to have 6 books that they have to keep track of.
Yeah.
So then when Kyle interviewed you way back when and said all of this stuff was on your website, and I went and did the deep dive, and I was like, it's not on just his website, it's on one page.
Yeah.
So good. And even from the time that the students know 5 notes, they've got a warm up in their hands that's got a background track. I mean, man, all the people need to know.
Excellent. I'm glad you're saying that. It's funny how it started because of the same reason. Like when I was teaching elementary, well, when I was teaching, we started in 5th grade elementary school, and it was only 2 days a week. So we didn't do much. We didn't get very far. And I was like, I need very basic stuff for us to practice these fundamentals. And I also, I taught at a Title I school, so they didn't have money. So I was like, okay, well, we always have music. Here's if you forgot your music, I can just print it out. And they couldn't always get books. So that's where it all started. And it's it's
very clear and it's so useful. And I like literally can't say enough about it. The chorale before our concert is from one of your warm-up series, like all the levels. I'm like, I don't need to say much. Kids, take out Foundations number 4, we're doing the chorale. And that's what we start our concert with so that they can play something on stage before they play their pieces. But in a normal rehearsal, we can do the entire warm-up number 4 in, what is it, like 3 minutes or something like that?
Which is the goal.
Like I have short rehearsal time, and I do want them to do fundamentals every time that I see them. And so I know if I need to get a lot done, then I can do this warm up, and this is all happening in 3 minutes. It's just so great.
Yeah. And it's, so I mean, that's the idea is because, and you can spend longer if you need to.
For sure.
And you can break it down, and you can work on embouchure, and you can work on air and attacks and release, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just play straight through it and say, we hit the fundamentals, and the students don't necessarily realize, but they're also learning how to warm up on their own.
For sure.
Is that they do this sequence of events every day. So when you tell them, when you go home, you need to make sure you warm up before you play. They know what to do. They have, and they just read down the page if they have to.
And we introduced the YouTube track to them,
exactly,
which is even better because like a 6th grader might not want to do an airflow study, but if it's to a cool cinematic track,
yes.
And it's just, it becomes part of their practice time outside of class too.
And that's the goal, is to make it fun.
Yeah,
it's like these are fundamentals that they need. And that's why I started writing the cinematic tracks. It was like, how do I get my kids to play? I think I was actually teaching high school at the time. And I was like, I need to make Remington long tones more fun. And I didn't even plan on using it for like a band setting. It was just like, if I have this cool soundtrack for them to play on, it wasn't even YouTube. It was just, here's the MP3. Go play your Remington long tones with this, and it worked. They liked it. It was cool, and so I was like, well, let's keep doing this. Of course, then COVID happened, and I was like, okay, now there's a huge need for it, so that we can keep people playing long tones. During being at home and that kind of stuff.
My kids love the lo-fi tracks too.
And that was the next stage. It's like, I've done the cinematic thing. What's next? I was like, I hopping on the internet. It's like everything is lo-fi. And it's like, and it's and also, I'm starting to do some synthwave things now, because that's apparently an internet trend. So I'm just kind of poking around, looking at stuff and seeing, what's popular. And sometimes it's just like, I did a funk one for one of it. So it's like, it's fun. It's interesting. It also gets them listening and counting.
The epic counting and epic 16s have both been very popular.
Oh, good. Okay.
They're great.
I need to do more of those. I did those a while ago on a whim, and I've done so much at this point that sometimes I forget the things that I've done. And so when that pops up, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I did that. I should do more of those things.
Yeah. Well, those ones are especially helpful because you have a whole page. The epic counting one was all 8th notes, 8th rests. And I found that in our method book, there's a few different songs that uses 8th note, 8th rest counting, but it doesn't stick well with the kids. And then they don't cover it for like a page or two. And then I'm reteaching it again. So I have found by like slipping in the epic counting, they've been able to remember and retain.
That's kind of the point of a lot of the things that I do, is like, because the method books by design, they have to push you through
Of course
things
they do. Yeah.
and they can't reinforce. They typically reinforce while adding another layer onto it. So
Yeah.
I figured like these resources can like, no, we need a little bit more time on
For sure.
this. We need to progress a little bit. So we'll learn this line in the book and then we'll play this, which goes with it, reinforce that, and then we move on. Because and then, you know, some I'm sure some situations they're like they can blaze straight through the book. But you know, when I was teaching, a lot of my kids needed that reinforcement.
They do. I do think they need it. And it allows you to break it down and teach them how you want them to count it. A lot of people have different system of counting, so you can
Which is why I don't put anything online.
Put anything on there.
To use your own method.
True. And you can also, one thing I have done is I've put up the PDF, I've blown it up on my board, and then I'll write in articulations in there too.
Yeah.
You've left all the articulations out, which is great because then you can just say, okay, well, I'm teaching staccatos now, or I want to teach a staccato and a tenuto side by side. And that's
amazing. It's amazing to hear like this in practice because that's kind of the intent. And I don't necessarily say that on all of them, but it's like, make it work for you.
Yes.
Use it for dynamics if you want.
Yep. Dynamics.
So many things that I do have no dynamics because I want you to do your own.
Yep.
Like do it if that's what you're working on, then you can use that. So.
Yep. We went through I think it was the framework fundamentals set with my 8th grade band. We worked on that. It took a long time to get through everything because that one's loaded. And so then they were at the place where they could play it all the way through. And I could easily sense that everybody was just playing it at one volume. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna call out dynamics every single exercise. So like this one, we're doing mezzo forte. And then it was like 3 lines. I was like, you're doing this one piano. You're doing this one piano. You're doing this one piano. And I could see them having to put so much more effort into the warm up and it kind of freshened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it got them to play soft, which middle school kids don't want to ever do.
They don't. Play as loud as possible.
What happened was I was able to work on another level with them that they weren't doing for a longer period of time in any band music. It was like for a whole page, it was like we're able to like really work on playing piano in the warm up. And then when we were doing it for, 8 bars in a piece and had a little bit of movement and dynamics, it was so much easier for them. And
awesome.
It was great. It was great.
That's awesome to hear that that's being used in all those ways. So
I thank you so much for all of that. And if you have not checked out his website, it's johnmcallister.com. And
JohnMcAllistermusic.com.
Yeah, thank you. John McAllister.
But if you type that in, it gets you there. You just type my name in, it usually comes up.
It's all under free resources. So there's first fundamentals, there's foundations,
then foundation warm-ups,
then framework fundamentals.
Framework fundamentals, and then it kind of splits out. Young ensemble and symphonic are kind of comparable.
Yeah.
And then I did a comprehensive warm-ups, which doesn't have a cinematic play along, but it does have a drone and a metronome on it.
Yeah.
And that one, that's where it kind of gets, you're in the more advanced level. So you may pick and choose things to use from that. And then I have some advanced warm-ups that I used to do with my top group when I was teaching high school. So there's, the idea is that you are able to warm up with your students and have a good warm-up, but also teach them how to warm up.
Yep.
And do it all together. And that's the thing is that seems to be most valuable for band directors is that you have a full group of mixed instrumentation in front of you.
Yes.
You can't just do long or lip slurs with the brass or like if I just had brass players in front of me, I probably wouldn't even have music. I'd just like, all right, here's my trombone. Let's warm up together.
Yep.
But you don't get that luxury.
No.
You have the full band there. So we need clarinets playing into the upper register.
Yep.
We need woodwinds doing scales. We need brass doing lip slurs, all that stuff. Yep. So all of them I think the first 3 foundations, I think it's all unison. And then I think the 4th one is when we start to get into, no, this is actually what your warm-up should look like for your instrument.
Yep.
And then they can kind of go out from there as they learn to warm up on their instrument, like brass, start to learn more complex warm-ups for themselves, that kind of thing. So.
It's so gradual though. Like the intro to flexibility before they do the lip slurs is just like, okay, we're just doing a slur that goes down in half notes and that's it. And then it progresses into the lip slurs like that. Even in a method book does not happen that progressively. And I just think you've done just such a brilliant job.
Scaffolding. It's all about scaffolding.
So great.
And just making it so that you can take that. It's like my kid, we were talking about my kid a second ago, and she has just learned how to get up stairs, but it wasn't all of the stairs at once. She'd get up one stair and sit there and think about it for a second and then look at me. And then I was like, okay, well, and then about a week ago, she just looked at the stairs and just went straight up all of them. And I was like, okay, that's that's how the brain works.
Yep.
That's how we learn. It's
Yep.
like you sit and it doesn't change when you're learning how to, which finger to mash down and
Yep.
how to do a proper lip slur, all that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
So great. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And
Absolutely,
thanks
yeah.
for the chat. This is
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
Love it.
all right. Good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're also a composer, like
Yes.
in addition to all the warm up
Yeah.
stuff.
So very briefly, I've always been a band guy, but I've also been fascinated with film music, which is why all of my warm-ups have these cinematic accompaniments that go along with them. And but I also, I write band tunes. So we just spoke a lot about the warm-ups. I try to connect as many of my warm-ups to the music as possible. So I have pieces that, like, specifically for like the foundation warm-ups, if you're on foundation warm-up number 2, here are the pieces that you can play along with this. It uses only the same notes and everything. Dynamic. It doesn't add anything. It's usually exactly the same thing. So if you're playing that warm-up set, you can do that. Now, once you get a little bit more advanced, I just have general grade 3 music, that kind of thing. But yeah, I have pieces that they go along with all of that too. And I'm very fortunate that people use the free stuff and they also hop over and buy music too. So it keeps me able to do what I do.
And
So,
the music is cheaper, you say, than a traditional
yes,
publisher.
I typically sell it as low as a lot of I sell my music through Sheet Music Plus and through, I'm literally pointing to where the companies are, and also MyScore. And I usually sell it for the cheapest they'll let me sell it about. I guess Sheet Music Plus you can sell whatever, but well under what you would normally pay for a band piece, just to make it affordable. And yeah, so it's just I've found that I like to help the programs that don't have as much money, that I want to make sure that I've got music for them as well. So selling them at that price, it usually helps them out, and people are gracious enough to buy it. So
You're also available for commissions.
yes, yeah, I do commission pieces. Usually it's just my friends, because I haven't really advertised that.
Right.
But here's the advertisement right here. Is if you want a piece, reach out. I'm very reasonably priced. So
Love that.
Yeah.
So let's end with a little trombone pedagogy.
Yes.
Because why not?
absolutely.
You were talking about, I was talking about, like, because my son is playing trombone, playing high pretty quickly, because we
Yes.
just told him it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
what are some things you'd start some trombone kids on? Like,
So-
this camera is just whack. Crystal, can you fix the camera?
Trombone pedagogy.
Trombone pedagogy.
Yeah, I love it. I love I as a trombone boy, you can see a lot of the pedagogy in the things that I write, because I think about these things, and
Is first position where the metal hits the metal?
no, it can be, but I'm trying to think of I guess probably B flat at the top of the staff. Metal hits the metal, especially for younger players, because you get it in tune there and then pull it out a little bit for the Fs. And good luck on D. It's yeah, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, no, yeah. And then just teach some of those really fancy ones where you can like push it up past first position,
Yeah.
because they got a spring in there. Those are fancy. But
And then vowel shape, because a lot of kids start on trombone and it's very closed, right?
I don't know. Yeah,
Really
the
open.
valve shape. Yeah, to keep it nice and open and just free air. And this, and the embouchure, like getting it set and open and get the aperture at the right, and then, then it's really is just about airspeed. How do you teach that? But to a young one who's going to do all kinds of stuff to their embouchure, but it really is, like you said, he's able to play high. It's like if he's got a good setup, then and his air's working correctly, then yeah, of course he can go up to these high notes right off. So yeah.
And listening to trombone players helps, like just having kids aware of what band's supposed to sound like. And
Yes.
that
Yeah.
helps a lot too.
Yeah. I was talking with a former teacher earlier, and I was just like, we were talking about young band directors, and just like, you have to know what the characteristic sound is for all of the instruments. And that's your goal when you're teaching, is that you're always listening for, whether it's trombone or any of them, is that what is that characteristic tone that they're trying to create? So, and is your ear guiding you to give them corrections that lead them on that path? You have to know what it sounds like to do that. So
I'll throw one other little plug in. There's a company called Thumb Gummy, who's a sponsor of mine, that has a little silicone thing for $10. You throw it right on the slide and it fixes their.
which I am fascinated about, because I had not heard of this, and I'm definitely going to go check this out, because that if you're a trombone player or you teach trombones, you know that right hand, or maybe you don't know, you should know, that right hand is,
Are you a 2 fingers up, 2 fingers down guy, or 3 and 1? Or
well, I used to be a pinched kind of like that. Then I switched to the 2 fingers up and then to 2 fingers down, specifically so that when I can get out to those lower positions,
Yeah.
I can do that. And I switched that later in college, and it was I still had the bad habit of every now and then grabbing the bell, and that took some getting out of that, and some some
is it because I tell my son and other kids, like, just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop doing it.
Yeah.
But I can't. Just stop.
Yes.
Like, is there pedagogy behind that, or it's like just stop doing it? It's like
just stop doing
stop
it.
biting your nails.
Yes,
Just
yes,
stop doing
exactly. Stop doing it, and it's going to cause so many issues and
so we need an
scales and all
inventor
that.
to create some sort of electroshock that comes from the bell. The
Or
minute
just
you touch the
you
bell,
could put a thumbtack right there. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. No, just don't touch the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Great.
yeah, good stuff.
John, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
great.
Thanks for having me on.
Welcome back to Growing Band Director Podcast with old friend Jackson Smith here in
that's
Midwest. Yeah, how are you?
nice. Good. How are you,
Good.
Kyle?
You have a question for me?
Yes. My question is, so I teach at Neenah High School in Neenah, Wisconsin, which is by Appleton, Wisconsin, and
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm not from there, so I don't have the so bad yet.
But you're in Packers territory, right?
Well,
Or is
yeah,
it
all
Minnesota?
of Wisconsin is Packers.
Oh,
No,
okay.
for sure, it's all Packers territory.
Okay.
Although I'm a Bears fan, so I'm like in enemy territory.
Bears.
Yeah. This is the year. Ha 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 ha. We'll see.
It's the Patriots here.
That could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patriots looking really good. Anyways, my question is, I've got my top jazz band is curricular.
Crystal.
Your camera moved
This
again.
camera. It's so nice for in person.
Yay.
Alone.
Oh. Yeah.
Just turn the whole thing. There you go.
There you go.
Almost thrilling listening.
Yeah, this is
I don't
good
even know
radio.
what to do.
So it's like a
No, we're
smart
not editing.
camera
We're
that
just leaving it.
only
It'll be quick.
looks-
Everybody fast forward 15 seconds. Keep going a little bit more. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. A little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Okay. So for the 9 people who watch versus the many
Yeah,
people who
that's
listen.
great.
Okay.
Your
Your jazz band
so
is
the top
curricular.
jazz band's curricular. So we meet every other day for 100 minutes. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's an audition group. And we
And everybody who wants to take it or you want in the group can take it.
Yeah.
There aren't kids who are like, sorry, I can't be there because I'm in chorus or I got basket weaving.
no, it's not basket weaving. Sometimes there's some kids with really stacked, heavy, like
Yep.
AP class schedules that, or they're taking like a like a work release or something,
Yep.
and then it kind of doesn't fit. But all my top picks really this year, after the auditions, are in the group. So
Okay.
I think normally it works out okay.
Great.
So what I'm looking for, one of the things I'm looking for at Midwest is I'm looking for almost like a workbook with quick exercises that's jazz-based theory. So that exercises that are not associated with a performance piece. A lot of the methods that I've seen are, here's a piece of music in this book, and then everybody's going to play the melody. Everybody's going to like take a look at the chord changes, and here are some ideas, and here's some call and response and whatever. But then it's related to the piece of music.
Yep.
I'm looking for more like 10-minute little sections where we can dip our toe into understanding different seventh chords and dip our toe into different modes of the minor scale used for improvisation and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it exists, but Crystal was saying that you may already have ideas about that.
She said setting me up.
Yeah, she did.
It's actually a really good question. So I have a lot of different thoughts. I don't know of one method. Now I know there are jazz band methods out there
Yeah.
for young band, for older band. Doug Beach has one I know that's great. Don Zentz used an old one. Sometimes the oldest ones are really the best ones.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about like rhythm reading.
Mhm.
Here's what I would do and do. First of all, if I have them in a band class, we warm up, whether it's jazz band or not jazz band.
Right.
So
We do that too.
fundamentals, whatever you're going to do.
Mhm.
Then I use rhythm train method, which is from the Ted Reed syncopation book.
Okay.
It's basically a book of rhythms that are meant to be played with the left hand of a snare drum while you play drum set patterns.
Sure.
So ba da da
Yeah.
da 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 da,
Yeah.
and you get the kids to sing that while the drummer's playing and they're dancing around and moving and singing and clapping and playing, and
Yeah.
that's the way to like make your pocket really deep. You can do it where every rhythm changes every measure depending on the line you're on. in the part of the book you're on or whatever. So I do rhythm train, we call it, from the Ted Reed Syncopation book. And then I would use just supplementary materials that I would write, to be honest with you. Like, to me, the major scale, the Dorian minor scale,
Yeah.
right? Which for people who know is just the flatted 3 and 7, not the flatted 6.
Yeah.
And then the Mixolydian scale, like, because that makes the 2-5-1 pattern. So I'm like, this is stuff I would write stuff based on what you want them to do at that time. So I would love it if people maybe contact us for if they have, but you want to write a method that has all this.
I mean, that's my problem is I don't feel like I don't have time to write it. Or if I did, I feel like I don't have the real deep knowledge to nail it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I can implement someone who has created something, but
Call and response is huge. You're a trombone player and drum set player, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
I assume you play for your kids and they
Oh, yeah.
call and copy. I like to use call and response.
Yep.
Group improvisation, like all the things, the blues. I love having a warm-up tune or a bunch of warm-up tunes. So like say your band can play grade 4, that's awesome. But here's 3 grade 1s that we play on rotating basis. And
Right.
yeah, so I also find that if I had a method book as the year goes on, of course, I've never had 80 minutes or 100 minutes every other day, which is
Right.
awesome. I would find that I would be warming up too much and not playing enough tunes.
Yeah, we play so much. We play so much music. I think they have 20 charts in their folder,
Yep.
and I rotate those out. I rotate most out every year. When we have our jazz dance is like our big event is in January. It's on the 17th, I think, this year, Saturday. And it's all 3 bands, and the combo plays in the lobby. But that top band, this curricular band, they will play an hour set as like the headliner. And
so Chris Barron's,
that sounds familiar.
who's at Beloit High School,
Yes,
they're
yes.
like an essentially Ellington group.
Right.
Great ensemble, great teacher. They have a gig every month.
Yeah.
At a local coffee shop, whatever it is, a place that can host them.
Right.
Like we're literally every second Wednesday, they're there to play an hour set.
That's cool.
And that whole month he uses the class, not just for that, but like they always have tunes
Right.
that like that's the curriculum to do more and more music.
Right.
I know I'm not answering your question. I'm redirecting
No.
your focus, but
You're
that's just what comes to my mind.
It's okay. I mean, that's why I'm kind of on the hunt today. Like
Yeah.
somewhere in this room, there's someone that knows something about what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I have, similar to you, I have written out a couple simple exercises. My second jazz band played What Is Hip, Tower of Power tune, like a grade 2.5 or 3 arrangement. I can't remember who does it, but that's just it's basically like a pentatonic scale if you're a guitar player, is how that What Is Hip trumpet solo is created. All those even the original, it's just 5 notes that he's playing around with.
Yep.
He just plays it in a really good style, really fast, and it sounds awesome. But my students, unless you are a guitar player and you can kind of hear that sound, they have no way to figure their way to that. So I wrote out a little thing, and then suddenly everybody was able to put something in there, and we passed the solos around, and it went great. So I'm looking for like a book of those. I don't know.
What if you're so first of all, you can use a real easy book, volume 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Do you know what those are?
No.
They're like real books, like you could buy like
Yeah.
hundreds, but they're supposedly simpler tunes based on simpler chord changes.
Yeah.
And they have versions that are like 3 or 4 horn books.
Okay.
So literally, like the whole band can read them, like little arrangements. But there are melodies. There's piano voicings written out. There's bass lines written out. There's sample solos written out. I mean, it's the real easy book. There's even a harder one, and then the Latin jazz one.
Yeah.
Those are really good. I was also thinking as you were talking, what if you made a list of 15 jazz artists? You know, at the top is going to be, whatever. I might show my bias, but like Ellington, Basie, Thad Jones, Clark Terry, Miles Davis. Just like take whatever.
Right.
And then every year, there goes the camera again. Every year, you go like, okay, how many charts can I find by these people, by all those people?
Yeah.
And then every year, try to get in
One little exercise, right?
or charts by like if Cannonball's on there, like there's a bunch of great Cannonball Adderley tunes.
Sure.
So they're listening and learning from the masters. So jazz pedagogy, this is coming out. we're going to be doing a whole month with Milas Yo's, and in January episodes. It's moving again.
Sorry,
This thing is stupid.
I'm on the edge. Look,
I need camera help.
we need a camera person, separate camera person the whole time filming you.
Man.
So that's kind of one of the things I'm on the hunt for today. The other thing we were kind of throwing around before we jumped on was talking about being new at a school. So we're kind of talking about great do's and don'ts when you're new at a school. I'm in my second year at Neenah High School now, but I've been at 2 schools in 3 years and 3 schools in 4 years. So I've seen 3 very different programs, and gotten to make decisions at all of them. And there's like pitfalls, of course, when you're brand new, things that I would do again as a decision, and things that I would warn against doing.
Yep.
And you've been at, how many years have you been at your school now?
This is year 20.
And you've been only here, or
I had another school 3 years
Okay.
before that.
do you remember all the way back to your first year and the decisions that you made taking
Yep.
over for somebody else?
Yep.
What were some things that went really well and some things that maybe didn't?
I think I was good at insisting on what I needed to change,
Yeah,
like musical excellence, like where you're going to put the music stand, like the non-negotiables.
right.
What I would go back and change is I would have let go the stuff I didn't have to deal with right away. So I wouldn't say that I burned bridges, but I was like pretty adamant about things.
Yeah,
I was a little more stubborn than I needed to be. Well, when you're 24 or 27 years old,
Yeah.
like that's just the way you are. How old are you now?
31.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
So much older than that. So as you get older, you start realizing like, so I think some people say, well, I was talking to Travis Weller. First of all, episode 188, Reed Bailey, we did a whole episode on like being a new teacher. So people want more of this. Go check that one out. Teacher in Arizona, I think. But Travis Weller tells his student teachers, year 1, survive.
Yeah,
That's it. Like just survive.
Mhm.
And then people say, find the non-negotiables. What are the things that you're like, I'm sorry, this has to change.
right,
And then everything else, let it wait.
right. Yeah, one of the things that was a non-negotiable for me is it was actually almost a directive from my you get distracted by the camera.
Camera.
It was almost a directive from the superintendent when I was hired that they wanted a more engaging, higher quality marching band product. And so that was a big change for the students, because marching band was pretty casual at the school before I took over. And we're not a competitive program now, but we've made pretty big changes over the course of 2 school years to get to a point where we're putting a competitive looking show on the
Yep.
field.
Like a drum corps style show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not competing, but we did an invitational, like a local invitational this past year, and that went really well. And really the culture shift has been huge in 2 years. From marching band was a chore 2 years ago, and it's not everyone's favorite. It will never be everyone's favorite thing,
But for some kids, it is their absolute favorite.
definitely. And now what we have is something that we can be proud of, and the kids are determined to make it good, which we really did not have that before.
And however, I mean, I've always chosen to try to design DCI type shows rather than entertainment shows.
Yeah.
But I think it's also easy for people to put down the other one that they don't do. And I think
Sure.
it's really important for people to know, like, if you're an entertainment football halftime band and like that's what it is, that's fantastic. That's what the community is going to get. And
Yeah.
those kids, that can be an amazing experience for them. I've just chosen not to run it that way. It's not like there's a right and a wrong. The teacher in the community kind of has to come up with that. And it sounds like the community was doing something else, and then you were kind of told, hey, we want to move in this direction. Did you have the chops at that time where you're like, okay, I know how to do this? Or were you thinking, I don't know what I'm doing?
No, it's actually, I've said this to some trusted students, and now I'm in a position where more kids know, and I feel a little bit better about it. But marching band is not my favorite thing.
Yep.
I was really a concert band guy. And I actually only marched for 2 years when I was in high school because it wasn't required at the high school that I attended, and that was a more of a casual marching band product, anyways. And then we didn't have a marching band at the college that I went to, and I did not have a marching techniques class. So in the interview when they said this to me, I mean, you sort of say yes, right?
Yeah.
But
I want the job. I'll do.
right.
I'll shine the floors if you need me to.
That's right. But I did student teach in a competitive program, and the program that I was a middle school director in before my current job, they had a very good parade marching program, and then they would put on a high quality entertainment style halftime show every year. And they would go to the Rose Bowl, and that was Pulaski High School up near Green Bay. And so I had sort of a wider set of experience that I felt could kind of take me to where we needed to be. And where we were before was fine, but it was sort of squares and triangles and circles on the field. And the previous director would just cut it down the middle on the 50. He'd put the top band on the left side of the 50 on side one, and then the lower band on the
So they
right
could rehearse
side.
separately.
They could rehearse separately, and
Wow.
then they put it together, and here's my squares and triangles. And kids don't want that. You know, they don't want to feel like this is kind of uninteresting. They want to prepare something that's cool.
Yeah.
So we went from that to, we hired out the show. Our drill writer now is Kara Metzger, Dr. Metzger, who's the director of the Blue Gold Marching Band at UW Eau Claire. And they have a ginormous, it's like 400 people in that marching band. And she's awesome. She came out to clinic the group.
Step sizes of, 12 to 5, 16 to 5, because there's 400 people on it.
Right. It's cool to watch them. It's really cool to hear them because it's just this wall of sound.
There's nothing like that.
I know. So that was a non-negotiable for me because it was a directive, but I also wanted it. I was not interested in just what we had before.
I think the way to start when you get there, if somebody's starting a new job, my number one advice would be make it good. Make the ensemble really good, like musical excellence. And if you're talking about marching band, marching excellence as well, like people start rallying around this when they come home, when the parents go to the first concert and they go, wow, I don't remember this ever sounding like this all of a sudden. And the only thing that's changed is you.
Yeah. At least that's what it looks like, right? Yeah. On the surface view of
But all the kids are the same.
Yeah.
The auditorium's the same. The parents are the same.
Right.
They're like, wait a minute, last year it was not good. Now it's really good.
Right.
And they start buying into it.
Yeah. The other thing, piggybacking off of what you just said, I don't think it was on this podcast. I also listened to what's the podcast that's hosted by the middle school teachers out of Texas?
Band BFFs.
No,
after sectionals.
Yeah, after sectionals.
Yep.
I think it was on their podcast where somebody said once that one of the top priorities needs to be the groups need to sound good.
Yeah.
And that, like, after the kids are safe and feel good about being in the band program, the next is like musical performance needs to be really strong.
Yeah.
And whatever you need to do to achieve that goal is really important. If you need
Under program,
I was just going to say that. If you're struggling to play grade 4 with your top band and it's just not quite happening, and everybody's like, you're at like 89% accuracy and no one's happy, then
89% sounds terrible, by the way.
It really does. Get down to like a grade 3 and play that at like 98% accuracy. Even that sounds like it's got errors, but you get my point, right?
Yeah. And the tricky thing, especially when you're in a new school, you're going to have some seniors who are used to harder music and they think they can play it, and maybe they can. So that balancing act of trying to start programming less while keeping them happy for the culture of the group,
right?
I don't think there's a great answer,
right?
But getting them to get on your side, maybe with a couple pieces that they love, that you can get them to buy into.
Yeah.
Or maybe honest conversations if they're old, mature enough.
Yeah. My first year at Nina, I had about 5 seniors that they either did not show up at all because they just were not interested in the new guy, or they came to the first day of band camp and they were like, I'm out of here. Yep. And I talked to my principal about a lot of that, and he and I have a great relationship, and we knew this was going to happen, right? We're going to make some of these structural changes, and we're going to lose this small percentage of people that are just not going to buy in, but that's okay. One of the other things that I think is really valuable, especially if you're a new teacher and you're in a position as a new director, and you do sort of, if your administration will support you, you have maybe a couple new guy freebies almost to sort of say, hey, I need help with this piece of equipment, or, I think I want to make this change. And you might get some support with that.
Yeah.
One of those things for me was our drumline drums that we had were from 1999, and they really showed. So even though there wasn't necessarily budget money set aside, we got some money from the boosters and the building budget and then the district office, and we got some new drums purchased.
What was the episode number you were on where we talked about like basically rehabbing all your old drums?
I don't remember, but it was called Percussion for the Non-Percussionist Band Director.
People Google your name and then growing band director, they can find it.
Yeah.
I just was looking. I wasn't trying to be rude. This episode 143 was with Bobby Lambert because you were talking about how to basically get kids to buy in as you're starting in, and he had a great response in, I forget exactly what it was, where he talks about taking over for Scott Rush at Wando High School and what he said about Scott and the staff and everything to get the kids to buy into whatever that was. So
Yeah.
sure, check that out if they want to.
Such a balance beam.
Yeah.
My last non-negotiable was I had two more. One was they used to wear their marching uniforms for concerts.
Yep.
And the kids really told me that they didn't like that. And that was an easy one because the kids already were not super fans of that anyways. And I thought it looked sharp, but everyone looked a little uncomfortable sitting in their chairs with their buttons, pushed up real tight against their stomachs. And it was a little strange to me. And then we made marching band camp mandatory again because it wasn't mandatory. And that has been huge this year.
So everybody does marching.
Yeah. It's non-competitive, but that pays dividends all the way through the school year because your freshman flute players get to meet their section leader who's a senior, and they've got that point of connection, and everybody gets the music before the school year starts. And we're all kind of starting from that same position. And we're, I would say, months ahead this year to where we were last year, just because of that one small change.
Speaking of uniforms, this year I started letting my kids choose any sneakers they want to wear with their concert dress.
That's cool.
So because people will wear suits now and like Nike Dunks or whatever. So
do you have a set of like tuxes and dresses or no?
Yeah. So we wear concert black. So some kids have dresses, some kids wear if they're in choir. If not, we have the standard rules, tuxedo and all black for girls. And
but the school owns them.
We have some for kids who need it, but a lot of kids just have their own stuff. But like the shoe thing was huge. I'm like, who cares if there's some like white and orange shoes there? Like we're dressed nice and it's like a culture. So we just tried it one time.
Yeah.
The kids are freaking out about it. They're like, I'm going to go, this is going to be the best concert ever. They're like all excited about what they're wearing and
which shoes is it going to be?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, this kid in the trumpet section is going to win. I can tell you that he's got these shoes that are, it was just like a silly side thing that I never even thought about. And it wasn't because I had shoes I wanted to wear and I wanted to make it okay. It was just, let's just try something. Because I watched the elementary school kids play and they're wearing all black.
Yeah.
Guess what they're wearing for shoes?
Whatever.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Because they're 11 and they only have one pair of shoes because they're growing every month.
Right. You can't buy new set of black loafers every 6 months for your.
So it's like trying to stay current while also keeping like, okay, well, here are the standards of performance. And if you're coming Midwest, I probably wouldn't have them wear Nike Dunks, right? But it's just, another thought. A piece that we should leave with that you really like right now.
Piece that I really like right now. We just had our holiday concert last night. When last time we saw each other was this day last year. We just had this concert. We just did. This is not like a secret piece, but the Wind Symphony just played Sam Hazel's Perthshire Majesty.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's so beautiful, and I have a number of really good saxophone players, but probably my top player in the program played the soprano solo. And
did you cover the English horn or was it like with the saxophone?
We have a student she's an oboe player, and she played Little English Horn for the musical, but I had a saxophone player play the cue. Yeah, because it's much more stable.
It's a gorgeous piece.
It's so beautiful. What about you?
I was just thinking of it. Oh, so speaking of holiday, our holiday concert is put together in about 3 weeks. And our marching band is completely extracurricular.
Right.
So we have a concert around Halloween or a little bit afterwards.
Yep.
And we don't start till September. So we do like 7 weeks at start school concert, and then 4 weeks, but you take in Thanksgiving in there. So it's really like 8 rehearsals.
Sure.
And we basically sell out. Our community loves holiday stuff, Christmas especially. Like,
is it paid tickets?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a normal concert, but it's like you know, I had a kid playing triangle in the back, like in the Grinch costume with the face in the whole, like
Yes.
it was just fun.
Yeah.
So like some of the Randall Standard stuff the night before Christmas, I mean the Christmas Carol, we just did one of the Santa the Barbarian things with like Santa like battling the barbarian with
Right.
the Christmas with the candy cane and all this. But we did there's a pop ballad that we did that I really liked that Michael Brown did on Grown Up Christmas List, like the pop tune.
Yeah.
It's in oh boy, I should remember this. Yeah, I use a C and D flat major for the second half. It's a grade 3, and I think it starts in B flat. I forget. So it uses 3 keys, and it's for optional vocalists. So like, there's not a lot of pieces that are just like kind of pop holiday tunes where you can like take a kid and put them out front with a microphone and let them sing with the concert band.
Right. That's
So
true.
we had 2 kids, and we had them sing separately, and then sing in thirds, sing in, you know, harmony on the choruses. And
Yeah.
so that was like a really, you know, effective thing, because for our community, if they see something like that, like of course they're gonna love it. Like, oh, this is great. I'm seeing a barbarian fight Santa, and Santa's gonna win, and the barbarian's laying there on
Right.
the garland, and
Right.
and Santa ends up conducting the band with a big 8-foot candy cane, you know, like all that silly stuff that like
Yes.
the kids love. But then in 6 weeks, you're playing like really serious
Yes.
concert lit, you know, and the concert before was very serious. We're doing Charles Carter and Frank Erickson, like all the things.
Yeah.
So it's like that balance.
Yeah.
You know, kids really buy into the variation, because if you did just quote unquote cheese or showy stuff,
Yeah.
it's not that like that's bad, but like there isn't the same depth.
Yeah.
So learning as you go to find ways to be lighter, like popsy, but also deep in other times of the year.
Yeah. That's a balance beam thing too. You got to find like how much of this is the right amount, right?
Yep.
We just did same concert, but with the lower band, we did the Robert W. Smith Brazilian Bell Carol. It's got a kind of a percussion feature, but we made it like a Christmas party. So in that feature, there's supposed to be like street party sounds that the rest of the band kind of makes. They sort of go or whatever. But my kids weren't really doing an enthusiastic job of it. So I bought like party blowers and party poppers for everybody.
Cool.
So in the concert, they're like going, you know, popping things, and it was a surprise for the audience. So
one last holiday
Similar.
one that you can use from grade 7 through college.
okay,
Grade 1.5, Ted Ricketts, the Chipmunk song.
okay,
Yeah, no, it's great. You can hand out kazoos.
yeah,
Have a kid sing, but it's like simple 3/4, but it's like fun. You can have some kids come out and be Alvin and the Chipmunks if you want.
yeah,
So
nice.
we've used it at high school, but usually at the middle school level.
Do they sing like? Do they do that whole thing? Or
They sing the chorus, you know,
Perfect.
and then the day of the concert, you give them the kazoo, then they sing it in the kazoo, and then the kazoo goes home as a nice family
Right.
gift that their parents
Perfect.
then break and throw away.
Can I say one more? I thought
Yeah.
while we were talking. So we've got for our competitive set in the spring, we're doing the Frank Mantooth arrangement of Beyond the Sea.
Yeah.
You know that arrangement?
I know. No, I wouldn't. No, I don't.
You got to look it up. It's like a Latin rock fusion swing arrangement of that tune, and there's the musical with all those Bobby Darin tunes are Just in Time is kind of out on Broadway right now.
Yep.
So it's sort of in the zeitgeist. We just happen to own this arrangement, and it's awesome. You got to have a trumpet player that can really get up there, but I think there's an E. It's a top note.
Yeah.
It's
a big girl note or big boy note.
it's a big boy note.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us, it's a big girl note this year.
Yeah, it's great.
So we'll see. She'll get there, I think. But it's really great, and that'll be for a solo and ensemble in our jazz festival kind of set.
If anybody was looking for repertoire for jazz band, if you Google the name Don Zentz, Zentz,
He's got the list, right?
you'll find his repertoire list. You'll see hundreds and hundreds of tunes by grade level that people can search and check out. So
With descriptions and stuff, right?
yes,
That list is great. Cool, man.
we're good.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
great. Are we good?
We sincerely appreciate you taking your valuable time and listening to the Growing Band Director podcast. Your students are very lucky to have a band director like you. If you have any suggestions for episode topics or think you have an area of expertise to share on a show with us, please reach out. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your band director friends to subscribe as well. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening to The Growing Band Director. See you next week.